A Medical Doctor's Understanding of Buddhism, authored by Dr. Woon LIU. Chapter 9, 5 Results. To understand Buddhism, we must understand the 5 results: the result of effort, karma, enhancement, habit, and detachment. 1. Result of effort. All things are produced by effort of man, for example, a table, a building, driving skill, a university degree, etc. 2. Result of karma. The good or bad things that you did in your past lives would bring good or bad fortune in the lives to come. 3. Result of enhancement. Like a tree, the main cause is the seed. But for a seed to grow to become a tree, enhancement factors like soil, water, sunshine, air, and nutrients are necessary. Enhancement factors by themselves cannot produce a tree. Thus a tree is the enhancement result of these enhancement factors. In a society, lots of happenings are results of enhancement. For example, a person's good character is not enough for him to get a good job. But with the help of some powerful people who appreciate that person's good character, and offer him a good job, then the good character of the person is the enhancement factor for him to get a good job, and the good job is the enhancement result of his good character. The key factor is the help of the powerful person. In religion, result of enhancement is also very important. For example, when we pray, our prayer is only an enhancement factor. We have to rely on the key factor, that is, the saint's great power to have the prayer answered. 4. Result of habit. All our bodily actions are result of habit, like walking, running, speech, etc. Habits, when we require them, they are useful. When they are not required, they may become our trouble. For example, when we want to speak our native language, habit is important and useful, but when we want to speak a foreign language, the habit of native language would become a nuisance, affecting our accent, usage of words, etc. In Buddhism, the greatest concern regarding habit is not bodily habits but habits within our heart, that is, the 3 toxic emotions. Since the beginning of time, the 3 toxic emotions have always been moving around in our heart, life after life, day by day, moment by moment. They become very strong habitual forces, blocking us from realizing our blissful self. We must learn how to let go of these habitual forces in order to get purified, enlightened, revealed to our original blissful self, or not attached. 5. Result of detachment. As said before, we have got attached to the 3 toxic emotions life after life, and what we must learn is how to get detached, to get purified, to get enlightened, or to return to our original blissful self. This is the most important teaching of Buddhism. The way or method of detachment will be discussed in later chapters. Chapter 10. The Rules of Karma. Most people would find karma most interesting in Buddhism. Buddhism says that our life is destined, but it can be changed by doing good deeds. Karma is fair and square. Being fair and square does not make karma true. But for something to be true, we would hope that it is fair and square. Many people, after understanding the rules of karma, would wish that karma is true. Let us discuss on some important rules of karma. 1. Good karma for good deeds and vice versa. The first rule of karma is that doing good would result in good karma and doing bad would result in bad karma. Many people do not think this rule is true, as they find many bad people are enjoying and many good people are suffering. Karma involves 3 lives. Bad people are enjoying because their good karma related to the past life is still in effect, but they will definitely suffer when all the good karma is used up. The vice versa is true for good people who are suffering. 2. Takes time to mature. Like a seed takes time to grow to become a tree, karma takes time to mature, and karma would get matured in the next life. Some people would ask why the saints do not punish or reward people immediately when they do bad or good. Would the world not be fairer and more peaceful if that is the case? Do saints have the power to punish or reward immediately on spot? They have the power and they can, but they would not do so. The ultimate aim to help people is to help them grow spiritually. If one is immediately punished for doing bad, one would feel angry and revengeful. But if one is given the time and the chance to feel sorry, regret, or even remorse, this would help one grow spiritually. Same if one is rewarded immediately for doing good, one might become greedy and dependent, which is not good for spiritual growth. Thus, though saints have the power, They would only exercise it when they are certain that it will not cause anything bad on spiritual growth. 3 results are fixed, causes are not fixed. In the early days when I believed in Buddhism, I would like to share my belief with my friends over dinner. I was almost always challenged and asked that if there was fate, it meant things were bound to happen. If so, would I know whether they would treat me the dinner or not? How would you tackle such a challenge? There is an interesting story to explain this. Once an emperor was doing hunting with his general and his troop. The emperor took the convenience of visiting a temple in the forest as he knew the head monk there was a holy man with the power of reading people's mind. When greeted by the head monk, the emperor kneeled and bowed to the head monk. The general was somewhat reluctant to follow the emperor's etiquette, but still leading his troop, kneeled and bowed to the head monk. The general thought that he would only kneel to the emperor but not to anyone else. He thought the head monk did not deserve such respect and was fooling the emperor. The next day the general went back to the temple, called out the head monk to the entrance of the temple. The general then put one leg inside the threshold of the entrance and the other leg outside the threshold. He then said to the head monk, "Since you deserve the worshipping of the emperor, you must have something extraordinary. Would you know whether I am about to enter or exit the temple?" The general was thinking that whatever the answer was, he would do the contrary. He would then have the excuse that the head monk was just an ordinary person who infatuated the emperor, and he could have the head monk killed. The head monk knew he could not give the general the correct answer. But the head monk was indeed a holy monk with wisdom and insight. He calmly and humbly said to the general that. After hearing what the head monk said, the general was stunned for a short while. He then bowed to the head monk and left. What was it that the head monk said? The head monk said, "If you enter the temple, hell's door will open for you. If you exit the temple, heaven's door might be opened to you." The general was not a stupid man. He knew what the head monk meant was that if he entered the temple and killed the head monk, he would go to hell. And if he exited the temple and took heed not to kill for no reason, then he might have the chance of going to heaven. The general thus knew the head monk was indeed a holy monk, and that the head monk was trying to enlighten him, thus he bowed and left. In this story, we can see that it is the general's free will whether to kill or not. Such is not fixed. But once an action is taken, the result is fixed and bound to happen in due course. The above story explains that the cause is not fixed. It is one's own free will. But once an action is taken, the result is fixed. Coming back to whether my friends would treat me the dinner, it is their free will and this is not fixed. But once they take the action to treat me, the result of my owing them their generosity is fixed. Somehow I would have to pay back what I owe them. Thus in Buddhism there is nothing as taking advantage of others or being taken advantage of. What you take, you will have to give back. What you have been taken of, you will get it back. Chapter 11, Rules of Karma, continued. For doing good might alter bad fate for the better. Though the fate of this life is destined, it can be changed by doing good things actively, unstintingly, and selflessly. The following is a real case recorded by a Mr. Feng Feng in one of his books on Buddhism. The late Mr. Feng was a Buddhist living in Canada, and he had the supernatural power of the third eye since birth. I had the honor of meeting him in Vancouver years ago. At one time Mr. Feng required the service of a plumber at his house. When the plumber finished his job and was about to leave, Mr. Feng saw something about the plumber. He said to the plumber, "I know you love hunting. You might have an accident endangering your life. But if you could have mercy in your heart, you might be able to escape from some unwanted happenings." The plumber was astonished that Mr. Feng knew about his hobby. Though bewildered and not knowing what Mr. Feng meant, he did not ask Mr. Feng to explain further and left. Several months later, the plumber came to thank Mr. Feng for saving his life. The plumber told Mr. Feng that he went hunting with several friends in the hill some time ago. It was winter season and they found no animals for the whole day. Then the plumber and his friends spotted 2 deer, one big and one small, probably mother and son, at some distance away. The plumber and all his friends quickly got ready to shoot. The plumber, while aiming, suddenly felt sorry for the mother and son deer, and also remembered what Mr. Feng told him to have mercy. The plumber quickly fired his shot before his friends, not shooting at the deer but to scare them away. His friends did not know what the plumber did. They thought he just had a bad shot. That night when the plumber and his friends gathered around the campfire, one of the plumber's friends accidentally fired a shot when cleaning the firearms, and the bullet brushed past the plumber's head. If the bullet was slightly nearer to the plumber's head, the plumber would have been shot right in the head. Everyone was shocked but felt lucky for the plumber. The plumber was of course the most shocked, and when he came around from his shock, he realized that it was his earlier saving of the deer that saved him his life. The plumber said it was a narrow escape from death. He thanked Mr. Fung and said he had since quitted hunting. Doing good would change one's fate to the better, and on the other hand doing bad would change one's fate to the worse. 5. Kindness, big-heartedness, and wisdom. In doing good, kindness in heart is the prerequisite of all virtues. And kindness means we have to be considerate and offer help as is required. We help not because we want something in return, we help because people need it. And we must not have the feeling of superiority or deserving award and gratitude. Big-heartedness means we should give out as much as is possible to help, and we would help all those in need, not selectively. But different people are in different financial situations and have difficulties of their own, so the bottom line of such is of course different for different people, and we must not judge the big-heartedness of others. Those who give should be respected, and they will grow spiritually. Wisdom is required in doing all things to get the expected results, including charity work. In Buddhism, charity means doing good as the recipient wishes. If we are doing good but not as the recipient wishes, that is not charity. For example, when I learnt Buddhism in the early days, I was very eager to share it with others, not realizing that that might not be the other's wish, as they might not be interested, might have another religious belief or have other worries at the time. I wanted to do good but against their wishes, thus I was not doing good but perhaps bad. There are other considerations we have to take heed of, like, how to achieve the best result, how to have more people helped, how to help people not just on short-term but also on long-term basis, etc. All the above and many more require wisdom to guide us as what should be done and how to have things done. But we must not let any of the above be excuses to deter us from giving, helping others and doing charity work. 6. We must do the appropriate cause for the appropriate result. In Buddhism, when we talk about cause and result, we usually refers to the result of karma, good result for good cause and bad result for bad cause. But here in this Rule 6, it refers to effort cause. For effort result, and not karma cause for karma result. For example, if one wants to get good examination results, one must study hard. Studying hard is the cause of good results. This belongs to the result of effort of the 5 results. If someone thinks that doing good before examination and not studying hard would bring good result, then that person is wrong. Effort cause, study hard, brings effort result. Karma cause brings karma result. We must be clear about this. Chapter 12. Queries about karma. 1. If someone did bad things all his life, and yet believe he has done good, would he have good or bad karma? The answer of course is bad karma. The deciding factor is one's conscience, whether one's intention is good or bad. One can cheat others but cannot cheat one's own conscience. If that someone insists that he should deserve good karma, to avoid any argument, we can agree with him that he would have good karma. But the good karma he would have is that he would have bad things done upon him like what he has done upon others. As such is the good karma according to his own definition. 2. If someone intentionally does bad things to another person, yet that another person gets good result, would that someone have good or bad karma? The answer is bad karma. For example, A dislikes B. B asks A for investment tips, as A is a professional on such. A gives B some high-risk investment tips hoping B will lose money. But B finally makes profit. Would A have bad karma? The answer is as said yes. A might argue that he has done no harm but good to B, so he deserves good karma. Again, to avoid argument, we can agree with A that he will have good karma. And his good karma is that A would be done upon by others as he has done to B. And the outcome of A is unlikely to be what is hoped for. 3. On the other hand, if someone intentionally does something good to another person, yet that person finally suffers, would that someone have good or bad karma? The answer is that it depends on the situation. If the damage is not great, there is usually no bad karma, especially when there are accidental, unforeseeable situations. For when someone is being badly treated by others, some Buddhists would comfort that someone by saying that it is what that someone owes the others in his past life. For example, A lends money to B, and B refuses to pay back. Some Buddhists might say that it is because A owed B money in the past life. This is not the right concept. Buddhism says when B purposely does something wrong like not paying back A the money, it is B who owes A in the next life, and not A owed B in the past life. 5. Is the concept of karma really true? After a class on the rules of karma, I would ask the students 2 questions. The first question is that how many of you believe that the concept of karma is really true? Generally half of the class would raise their hands to express that they believe it is true. And when I ask them the second question, almost always 100% of the class would raise their hands. What then is my second question? The second question is that how many of you would hope that the concept of karma is true? The 100% response is understandable because if the concept of karma is true, we would know what to do in our life and we would feel more at ease and not so resentful. Chapter 13. Result of enhancement. In Chapter 9, 5 results, we have said that in human relations, enhancement is able to provide better chances if the enhancement is positive. In religion, enhancement means praying by reciting names or sutra of the holy saints to get what one wants. This is not unique for Buddhism but is common for all great and righteous religions. While many people claim that their prayers are never answered, there are not too few real cases of miraculous happenings in answering to prayers. People would wonder how it is determined as to whose prayers would be answered. The only wish or aim of Buddha and the saints, Bodhisattva, are to help people grow spiritually and attain enlightenment ultimately. Answering prayers are to get people's trust and confidence to follow their teachings. But the problem is that answering prayers indiscriminately or too generously would generate dependency, slackness, or even greed. Thus Buddha and the saints would exercise their wisdom carefully as to whose prayer should be answered or not. To avoid people becoming greedy, prayers for alleviating sufferings would be more readily answered than those for seeking personal benefits which in fact might never be answered. All prayers would be heard and noted, and responded at the best interest of the person concerned, including no answering in a certain period of time or nil response under certain circumstances. In many instances, prayers are answered in a subtle manner, making one wonder if it is just an incidental happening, and this again is not to nurture any greediness or dependency. There are rules to follow in regard to what could or should be done, or not be done. Buddha and saints would know what, when, where, how, etc., with regard to helping people. But when someone has done his best to help himself and has exhausted all his effort and is yet not able to solve the problem, and if he does pray devoutly, if he is a good person, and or if he makes a great vow, then there is a great chance that his prayer would be answered. People often ask which Buddha one should pray to. There are innumerable Buddha and Bodhisattva. Those most familiar ones include Gautama Buddha or Sakyamuni Buddha, Amita Buddha, Medicine Buddha, Bodhisattva Maitreya or Bodhisattva of Great Kindness, Guanyin Bodhisattva or Bodhisattva of Listening to Voices, Calling for Help and Alleviating Sufferings, or Bodhisattva of Great Vows to Help, Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva or Bodhisattva of the Great Vows to Save All Souls in Hell, Manjusri Bodhisattva, or Bodhisattva of Profound Knowledge, Samantabhadra Bodhisattva, or Bodhisattva of All Virtues, etc. Chinese names are provided for easy reference for those who can read Chinese. One could search on internet or consult Buddhism scholars or practitioners for their explanation and advice. Buddha and saints would not let people indulge on their kindness. Buddha and saints would only help those who help themselves. We must work hard and wisely to help ourselves, like we must see doctors when we are sick, follow scientific and logical ways like any normal person in solving problems, etc. To reiterate, Buddha and saints would not answer prayers indiscriminately to nurture dependency, slackness or greed. Thank you, and let's continue in our next video.